Completing any task can be mentally draining, and many of us, we sort of have this sort of like all or nothing attitude, right? And especially when it comes to getting things done. So joining us this morning, I'm actually really excited for this segment. So joining us this morning is Kara Swanson, the founder of Life Well Lived. Good morning, Kara. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this is interesting, and I'm sure we all know people like this. Some of us might even be like this ourselves, but what is behind this all or nothing mindset that we see?
Yeah, so I see this a lot, right? We think that we have to be perfect in order to make changes, but when we think this way, it actually just keeps us stuck and from moving forward. So it's important that we shift, our mindset on, any changes that we want to make in our life.
And Kara, what do you usually see the most when it comes to this all or nothing mindset? Is this, when it comes to dieting or exercising or maybe even work or home related? What do you see most with this?
I see it a lot in dieting, even exercise, but often with dieting. Like, you have a bad breakfast, so you think, the whole day is lost. And so you just decide to binge on everything, right? Instead of just realizing, okay, that maybe wasn't the best choice, but I can move on from that and I can make the next meal a healthy choice.
Yeah, and I know when you have that all or nothing mindset and you may have a little bit of a setback, you can be kind of tough on yourself. So what are some ways we can sort of get over that hump?
Yeah, the first step is just to admit that you're not perfect, right? This seems overly simple, but we can't skip this fundamental step, just realizing that, slip-ups will happen and just learn from it and move on.
Yeah, and if you mess up along the way or you hit a bump, it can be stressful or you can be down on yourself. So how important is it for us and for our mental health to be able to deal with this mentality in a healthy way?
Yeah, it's good to give yourself that grace, right? You need to give yourself that grace to realize that it's okay not to be perfect. And, but in order for this to be an effective step, you kind of need a strategy in place, right? Because otherwise your grace can become an excuse, for making the progress. And we don't want that. So making sure that you have a good balance there is good.
Yeah, and you said give yourself some grace. That's so important. What would be like a second very helpful pointer here?
Yeah, realize that, your day isn't the sum of, its parts. Kind of like I said before, just because, you fail at one point in the day doesn't mean that the entire day is lost and that, you can make excuses the rest of the day. Just kind of learn from it and move on. And that's how you'll see that progress instead of constantly starting and stopping.
Yeah, and when you talk to people who come to you to ask for advice or ask for help with this, what is something that's really important that you tell them that's just a very easy first step for someone who may be new to dealing with something like this?
Yeah, focus on one or two things is kind of what I encourage people to do. Don't try to go big, right? Focus on a couple things at a time and then, just making those steps each day, even if that's not perfect, get back up and do it again the next day.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I do think about this a lot, about what could be driving a all or nothing mentality. So is there anything else that you'd like to share, for just people who are watching who may be dealing with this?
Yeah, again, just really working on this is going to be really important so that so that you don't stay stuck, but can really make that progress, and just kind of every day, just realizing, okay, it's a new day. I don't have to be perfect, but really still working towards those goals and just doing better, the next chance that you get if you do have a slip up.
All right, well, you heard it there. Small steps, give yourself some grace and work on it day by day. Thank you so much for joining us.